Hey seniors, nice to be with you again today. Last time we talked about the benefits of a continuous glucose monitor, and I told you then that I would do a comparison of the four main glucose monitors on the market, and so I'm doing that in this video. So welcome again. We're talking about diabetes and glucose monitors to monitor blood sugar. So good to have you with us. Let's look at the first slide, and that slide talks about the four types of glucose monitors. We mentioned this last time: the Abbott FreeStyle Libre, the Dexcom 6, Medtronic Guardian Connect, and the Senseonics Eversense. First up is the Abbott FreeStyle Libre. This is the one I own, and I actually like it. So let's talk about some of the features. One of the less expensive glucose monitors on the market. It is a smartphone. There is a smartphone app available for it, which works well. The sensor side is under the upper arm, so you switch off between arms. No calibration is required. And the only negative feature that I can think about this thing is you have to manually scan the sensor instead of automatically getting the reading. But that's a very small thing, because all you do is lift up your arm, you take your sensor, your reader, and just place it close to the sensor, and it will read that sensor and tell you what your glucose is. Now that is opposed to some of the others that will automatically send the glucose reading to the reader themselves. Our next monitor is the Dexcom 6. Dexcom 6 is probably the most expensive of any of the monitors on the market, or it comes very close anyway. It's got a 10-day sensor instead of a 14-day sensor on it, so it means it lasts 10 days. So there is a smartphone app for it. There's also a watch app available if you want to read your blood sugar on your smartwatch. Calibration, again, is not required. You get automatic readings on this. Instead of having to put your reader up to the sensor, it actually sends automatic readings to you, so you don't have to do that. One of the nice things is it's approved for children 2 and up, which the other sensors are not, so it can be used for children. Also available, it works with Siri if you've got Siri, and the sensor side on this one is the stomach or your upper buttocks. Mainly the stomach. Upper buttocks is recommended for kids under 17 anyway. But negative feature on this is the price. It is one of the more expensive sensors on the market. All right, our next glucose monitor is the Medtronic Guardian Connect. Price is a positive feature on this, so that's one thing you need to look at, although the sensor is only a 7-day sensor. So compared to the Dexcom 6, which is 10-day, and the FreeStyle Libre, which is 14-day, that's pretty short. It is a smartphone. There is a smartphone app available for it. You get automatic readings, and your sensor side can be either on the stomach or on the upper arm. So keep that in mind. Negative features could also be price in this matter, and we'll talk about price as we get a little further into this, and calibration is required. So think about that. So right now I want to remind you and thank you for subscribing, and remind you to subscribe if you haven't subscribed. And diabetes is a relentless disease. It's quiet. You don't have a lot of symptoms from it, except for maybe low blood sugar if you go too low. But it's really something that we need to manage and keep up with. So let's go on then to our next sensor, which is the Senseonics Eversense. And this one's a little different. It came on the market not too long ago, and so it's got a 90-day sensor, which is much longer than any others. It is smartphone and smartwatch app available, automatic readings. Now, the sensor side is just under the skin, so let me explain this to you. Since it's a 90-day sensor, If you look down in the right-hand corner of this slide, you can see what that little sensor looks like. That has to be inserted under the skin, and it has to be done so by a medical professional. So even though the sensor costs on these things may be low, the insertion price, depending on the medical professional, may be high. And this one also requires calibration, so you need to consider that when you're considering these sensors. All right, with that in mind, let's go ahead to the next slide and look at the pricing. So in looking at pricing, you can see that the FreeStyle Libre, the actual reader itself is about $65, which is fairly inexpensive. And then the sensors are from $40 to $75 a month. So you only need 2 sensors a month, since, or approximately, since they're 14-day sensors. They don't have to be, you can insert them yourself, so you don't have to pay anybody for the insertion or the removal. Now the Dexcom, the reader is $243, and that's the lowest price I found. I think that one's at Costco. And then the package of 3 sensors is $353, and those sensors only last 10 days. So you're looking at $353 a month on the Dexcom 6. So unless insurance is picking up the bill for you, this one's pretty pricey. The Medtronic, the reader is, according to their site, is $699 when you buy the reader one time. And then the sensors are from $50 to $75 per month on that. And you can see down at the bottom, I've given you my sources on where I found this information. Now the Senseonics, $99 for the sensors. And they say you can get the first two sensors for $99. After that, it's going to go up in price, and we don't know what that price will be after your first 2 sensors. But the insertion costs is anywhere from $200 to $300, depending on your medical professional, what he's going to charge. And then you also have to have it removed after 90 days and reinserted, so that is $300 to $400, which, even though the Senseonics looks pretty inexpensive as far as the sensors go, the insertion and removal cost is very expensive. So that is something to be considered when you're looking at these or this particular glucose monitor. Now, all these, I think, are covered now by Medicare, and some private insurance is paying for some of them as well, but you certainly need to look if Medicare isn't covering it, you certainly need to look at your private insurance to see if it covers it. If it doesn't, well, then I think the FreeStyle Libre is your best bet. All right, we've got a free ebook for you for watching, so if you'll just send me an email to the email on this particular slide, I will send you a copy of that ebook. And remember to keep active and be an active senior. I appreciate you subscribing. If you haven't subscribed yet, just hit the little emblem in the bottom right-hand corner there. And it's been good to be with you. Join me next time on our next video. Thank you.